Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located right here at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for a to-go order, or dine in and get the best customer service with even better food. Open 7 days a week, and also don't forget that Wednesdays is $5 margarita day. And let Abel know that we sent you and get 10% off your order. San Marcos Mexican Restaurant. It's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel like it? Well, do you, Bunk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You shoot your eye out, kid.
I answered. And don't call me Shug.
There's no crying in baseball. This is wrong, bitch. Hey, the Schwartz baby.
I am your father.
At you, my pretty.
Take your stinking paws off me.
May the force be with you.
Here's Johnny.
Like the legend of the Phoenix, all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning?
Happy Monday, moviegoers, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I'm joined by the cast, the crew. Zach?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Craig?
Yo.
How was everybody's weekend? Good weekend?
Yeah, just chilling out here, you know.
Getting wet?
No, just today.
Nice. Yeah, it's a nice rainy thunderstorm Monday here in where we hail from you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So, Zach, you have a good weekend?
Yeah, really good weekend.
Really good weekend. I can't wait. I had a pretty decent weekend as well. Got a lot to cover here, so I can't wait. Got some brand new, nice, cheesy sponsorships to talk about. But a look back last week, guys, at Rocky. Tremendous episode. Doing well on the downloads. Thank you, everybody, for downloading the Rocky episode. You can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts at via Anchor, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and now thanks to the Prescribed Films Network, the PFPN, Apple Podcast. You can also visit www.prescribedfilms.com, and we're up there along with some of the other podcasts they have on there. So go check them out. A great group of podcast network. And then the social media. I was able to meet and do the giveaway with Michael this past weekend. Shout out to him. He was able to walk away with his Batman giveaway. So follow us on the social media, guys, and you will win free stuff just for following us. The Facebook is facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast, and then the Twitter is at Cine-Men405. So follow us, win free movies, win free digital copies, and then, every quarter we do our big giveaways 4 times a year. So, guys, it's going to be a fun episode. Zach, how was your, you said you had a fun weekend. If you could put anything else on Rocky, what would you try to suggest? It's on the HBO Max, so they can go HBO Max it up.
For me, it would. If you've never seen Rocky, I think that would be otherworldly. To be honest, it's truly one of those films that you don't even have to be a film fan to enjoy. You don't even have to be a sports fan to enjoy, because it's not really even a sports movie. I think it's just required viewing, basically.
Yeah. Craig, you weren't here with us last week for Rocky. I'm sure you've seen it numerous times. What do you think? You enjoy Rocky every time you see it, or you have to be in the mood to kind of watch The Rock?
I got to be in the mood to watch Rocky, but it is just one of those, when you think of iconic films, it's at the top of the list. So
Exactly. But Zach, you're going to get ready to get into some rodeo cinema for us.
Hey guys, this is Zach with the Cinema Movie Podcast here to talk to you about our good friends over at Rodeo Cinema. Rodeo Cinema, Oklahoma City's unique non-for-profit art house movie theater. Just a great organization with great people running the program. They're currently showing The Worst Person in the World in A24's new movie X. Located in the stockyards of Oklahoma, 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City. Go check them out and tell them that the Cinema Movie Podcast sent you.
All right, guys. I don't have a lot to bring to the table for some movie news, but if you guys have anything, go for it. Chime in. We'll talk some Oscar talk. Rachel Zegler from West Side Story, Zach, has not even been welcomed to the Oscar ceremony, even though Spielberg and some of the other cast members have been welcomed to the Oscar ceremony. She's a really big part of that movie.
Yeah.
And she
was nominated for the Golden Globe and everything.
Yeah.
So
she's not nominated for an Oscar.
No. Which
so
is horrendous.
Yeah.
But
She to me, she's one of the best parts of West Side Story.
And I mean, did they ever say why she's not welcomed or anything?
No, they just didn't invite her. She's not invited.
That's ridiculous.
So I wonder if it has anything to do with what's the guy, Tony?
Oh, Ansel Elgort.
I don't think he got invited.
No, he didn't.
So I don't think they don't want one to show up without the other.
But that's stupid. I mean, she's like you said.
I think
she's the best part of one of the best parts of the movie.
I think it's stupid he didn't get invited.
Yeah.
That's another conversation for another day, though.
Yeah.
Amazon completes its MGM purchase with a complete purchase of $8.5 billion. 007, everything that is on the MGM, book is now Amazon. I heard it could be a matter of months until everything is completely moved over to Amazon Prime, though.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys' thoughts? MGM is completely gone, and most of those movies will now be on Amazon Prime.
I figured at least at some point that was going to happen.
So that's pretty big.
Because, I mean, Apple was going to buy it for a while.
That's pretty big, though, for Amazon Prime now has the entire James Bond collection.
007, a Jeff Bezos film. Bezos.
I don't know who that is.
That's the owner of Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The richest man in the world? Okay.
Yeah. His money does me no justice.
Craig, we didn't talk about it last week, but Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer?
I mean,
not as hyped as you thought.
It was
I mean, you don't get a lot, but I mean, it's just it's just kind of cool to see Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan.
I was more excited for the theme, for the Duel of the Fates theme coming on than anything.
Yeah, I was trying to downplay it. I'm fucking excited. I know it didn't show too much, but I think the route that they're going is going to be great.
I hope it's better than what I'm expecting. If that makes sense. I'm not expecting too much out of it. I'm expecting the first. I don't know how long it's going to be. First of all,
as soon as I hear that, dun, 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 it's over.
Do you think it's gonna be like a mini series of 6 episodes or 8 or 9?
I think it'll be 8.
Yeah.
If it's 6 or 7 and the first 4 episodes are slow and then it picks up, I'm gonna kind of be upset because I'm like you could have just made a movie and made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when's the last time a Star Wars movie was in theaters?
2019.
2021, 2022, they could have put together a pretty good solid film. I'm just saying.
Something like a Solo.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see where it goes. Paramount News, Scream 6 is now March 31st, 2023. 1 year.
Yep.
Production starts in 6 weeks. Right now the title is just Scream, but it looks like it's going to be called The Scream. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm excited. The way Scream 2022 ended, it's like, where can they go from here? But I think they go deep, and I think they stretch all the way back to more of the original stuff.
Deep and stretching.
Yeah, I think that Ghostface is going to be different. Not the mask itself, but I just think this one, the way they did 2022 is just so much darker than 4 was. I think they're going to go darker. Just my
even
thoughts.
Darker than what 2022 was?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm excited. And I know people was like, 6 of them, do you really need a 6th one? It made a lot of money.
Yeah, it did.
It made a lot of money. And Zach, you even said you enjoyed it, so.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's why they're making Fast 13.
And then the Bob Marley movie got a release date. It's untitled yet, but it's a Bob Marley biopic, January 12th, 2024. What do you guys think about these biopics on some of these rappers or just music stars that have, been
If they're done right, I mean, we
Bohemian
can enjoy them.
Bohemian Rhapsody proves that if they're done right, they can make a lot of money and they can be really good.
I also think,
Doors is another one.
but I do think Queen kind of stretched out to a broader audience than what Bob Marley and
I think Bob Marley's got a lot of fans to this day.
Yeah.
he has a lot, yes, but to a casual fan.
I think we're going to find out in a few months with
With the
how
Elvis
well
one.
Elvis does.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Elvis stretches out far more than just his music. People the
Are
name-
obsessed with him.
Yes, it's more than just like Bob. People know Bob Marley. They know his music. They may not know as much culturally, but when you're speaking of like a broader general audience, Elvis is probably 30-40% higher than what Bob Marley is.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news that I want to touch on, you guys can bring anything up if you want. The PGA Awards, which is not that kind of PGA, it's not the Tiger Woods PGA. The film awards was this past weekend, and Coda won the biggest award of the night, bringing home Best Picture. Is this the curveball? We're just 1 week away from the Oscars, or 2 weeks away? No, 1 week.
Or 1 week Sunday.
It's this Sunday.
That's
So
coming Sunday, yeah.
Coda's
Yeah.
the Apple TV show, right?
Apple
Yeah.
TV movie. So
At this point, like we said, anything other than Power of the Dog, we're good.
I feel like anything other than Power of the Dog, I think deserves it. What do you think, Zach? Going gut feeling. Do you want to give any predictions later on, or do you want to?
You want to save it for later?
We'll save it for later. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do some predictions. I can't believe it kind of snuck up on me. The Oscars is this Sunday.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the winners next Monday on The Godfather.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Can't wait. Craig, do you have anything that you want to talk about in recent watches that you kind of checked out this weekend?
Man, you just caught me off guard with that. Recent watches.
I know you've been watching a lot of March Madness. Been going on.
A lot of March Madness. Batman and DC movies have become a nightly ritual when I rock with my daughter now. It's always, do you want to rock with mommy? You want to rock with daddy? I want to rock with daddy, and I want to watch Batman.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we have gone through quite a bit of the DC animated
Cartoons?
catalog.
Show her Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
She really only wants to watch ones with Joker in it.
Oh, nice. Even
And
better.
she wants to be Joker for Halloween.
Just don't show her the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah, no.
which we're going to talk about him in a little bit.
But yeah, March Madness and Batman catalog, like a plenty of those.
Plenty. Zach, what about you, sir? Do you want to go through your list?
Yeah, still going through my Harry Potter little binge. I finished the Prisoner of Azkaban, watched the movie on HBO Max. Finished watching, started and finished watching 1883 on Paramount Plus, the Yellowstone prequel. It's not as, I'll just say it's not as good as the Yellowstone, but
It's probably slow, though.
It's slower. It's interesting what they do with the mythology and how they get to that point
But
in the
so
show.
so was season 1, though, of Yellowstone.
True.
But you want to force me to watch it?
Oh, we're watching. We're watching.
And then went to the theaters this weekend. I checked out Dog, the new Channing Tatum movie.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty good. Pretty
nice,
good.
fun movie.
Yeah. I say check out Dog and then Harry Potter. So
Harry Potter's on the HBO Max. You know, what do you think about Daniel Radcliffe coming out saying that he is not interested in going back to that universe? I think it's a little surprising because he hasn't.
Well, if you heard his reasonings, I get what he's saying. It's only been 10 years since the last movie. It's like, just give it some more time. Even like,
he says not right now.
Not right now, and I respect that decision. I mean,
Yeah.
like he even said Star Wars, it took 40 years to come for Harrison Ford to come back.
Robert Pattinson would agree with that. Not right now.
I kind of had a slow week, but I'll go through some of my recent watches. I finally got to check out West Side Story.
Did I overhype it?
You did not. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
But the reason I'm giving it an 8 is because the character. I don't know. I felt more attached to the characters in this one than I did the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because I know the actors, not personally, but
No, you hang out with Ansel
They're
every
your
day.
best friends.
no. I think it's because it's just up to date.
It was just really, I think it was a better told story.
And it's shot perfectly.
Yeah.
I was invested in the characters, the story.
It's long, but it goes by quick.
It kind of does, yeah, I'm not going to lie. A Soldier's Story with Howard E. Rollins and Robert Townsend, also starring Denzel Washington. I didn't know this movie was nominated for Best Picture back in the day from 1984, but really good movie, pretty solid pickup, first time watch. The 355, pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. I'd give it a 4, honestly.
I saw that on
Jessica
the video.
Chastain.
Diane Kruger, Penelope Cruz, Lupita Nyong'o.
Nyong'o,
and
yeah.
Bing Bing
Okay.
fan.
I remember
It's
that.
like a
Yeah.
female CIA thing.
And I loved it. I dig that portion of it, having all these different characters come together, but it just didn't hit. Sebastian Stan is in it too. So who knows? It's on the Vudu. You guys can check it out if you want.
I think it's on,
James
I think it's
Gunn.
on Peacock too.
Yeah.
You need to get James Gunn to direct it.
Slapshot, the classic Paul Newman movie. I checked out, hockey movie. Ed would probably appreciate that. It's a raunchy comedy. Ed
would definitely love that.
Some consider it like one of the best movies of the 70s. I didn't see it.
What?
I couldn't feel it. Slapshot from 1977. Not very good. The musical The Newsies. I was in West Side Story put me in a mood to watch the musical.
Did you watch High School Musical?
No. The Newsies with Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
Really fun movie from the 90s.
Mhm.
Really good movie. Les Miserables. Checked it out. More musical.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, Craig's like dying over here right now.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, I like to broaden my watch list, Craig.
I broadened it.
A Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe. And then I checked out Gladiator. So if I had to recommend anything, check out Gladiator. Les Miserables. The Newsies is on Disney Plus. And then if you want to check out a new movie, the 355 is on Redbox probably. You said, Zach, it's also on Peacock. So, but yeah, those are my recent watches for the week. If you guys want to follow all of my recent watches and check out the physical media that I have, please go to the Instagram. Instagram is one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Hey guys, got those taxes burning a hole in your wallet? Go to CDR Electronics and pick up all of your physical media, Blu-rays, DVDs, video games, whatever you need. Go out there, check them out. They also have TVs, consoles, video game accessories, and computers. So yeah, go check out CDR Electronics, 1604 West I-240 Service Road, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Zach's Facts by Zach. Zach, let us know some things that we may not have known about Gladiator.
Yeah, so number one, Joaquin Phoenix ad-libbed his scream of "Am I not merciful?" Connie Nielsen wasn't expecting it, and her fright reaction was genuine. This is Russell Crowe's favorite American movie that he's ever done. He
Wow.
also cites Maximus as his favorite character that he's played.
Wow.
Many of the animals were loaned to the production from the zoo in Rabat, Morocco, as a way of getting around the country's strict animal importation rules.
And we have to say no animals were harmed while filming Gladiator.
No, maybe. I don't know. And then Hugh Jackman was considered for the role of Maximus and Jude Law for Commodus.
Oh, wow. I am so glad that they did not go that route. Anyway.
It'd been weird if Wolverine showed up. He would never die.
Yeah, that's true. And those are some facts by Zach.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho!
Hey guys, don't forget to check out Friday the 14th podcast, as we just got done talking about The Eye with Jessica Alba a few weeks ago. And then the next episode of Friday the 14th presents UHD, March the 31st. March 30th, we're going to talk about Halloween, the Rob Zombie edition. Everybody's always trashing Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I think it's honestly a underrated horror movie. So I'm honestly excited to talk about it with Nick. And you can check Friday the 14th every single Wednesday with me, Nick H, and Mr. Fuentes. So 3 different views of the horror movie, just like you get here with this podcast. So if you like listening to us on Mondays, on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, go check out Friday the 14th podcast as we talk a different horror movie every single Wednesday. Fun episodes, great group of guys, and I enjoy it. So check them out, Friday the 14th podcast.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. World's most fearsome fighting team.
Hey guys, not only did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like pizza, but we love pizza too, and we're here to tell you about Red and Blues Pizza. Order from them now, delivery with Uber Eats, and you can go in and pick it up, 602-405-602-2838, 4500 South May in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Dude, they have great deals, family deals like this, a family deal, 2 large topping, 2 large, 1 topping, $18. Pizza and a calzone, $20. The jumbo deal, 2 large pizza, unlimited topping, 12 wings, and a 2-liter soda. That's my kind of deal, $32. So check them out. It's guys, we were sitting here jamming to it today, and we're stuffing our faces with some Red Blues pizza. Craig, you couldn't put it down.
Yeah, I mean, the pizza was hot. It was fresh. The pepperoni was crispy, which is the way I like it. Got to have that crispy pepperoni on there.
Zach, I saw you over there stuffing your mouth with some sausage, and I got to say, guys, this is probably one of the better deals that we have that we talk about on the podcast. I mean, the jumbo deal, that's what I'm going to go with every single time. 2 large unlimited topping, 12 wings, and a soda, $30.
Yeah, I mean, that covers all bases right there.
Yeah.
I mean, when Mallory gets pizza, she always gets wings, and you got to have something to wash down that hot and fresh pizza. Man.
I'm not going to say anything, but the other guys, you pay $30 for 1 pizza plus delivery.
Yep.
And I mean, you get $30, 2 pizzas, unlimited toppings. I mean, who knows? Maybe sooner rather than later, we can have a Cine-Men movie theater pizza. I don't know what we'd put on that Cine-Men pizza, but we'd put something on it.
And not only are you getting good pizza, but you're supporting local.
Oh, yeah, it's always important here, at least like you said, Craig, here in Oklahoma City. Keep it local, a great business, great family-owned business, great family. I go in there a lot, even before they were part of this podcast. There's a lot of podcasts out there and a lot of different pizza places and even a lot of restaurants. But I can say every single place that we talk about here on this podcast, we've been there, we've had them, and those are the places that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just and we're not just going to go into some place and be like, "Hey, do you want to support us because we're a podcast and we'll mention your name?" No, it's CDR Electronics. We've been going there for years. San Marcos. We've been going there since we were working at a bowling alley when I was in high school.
And I'll be the first to admit, this is the first time I've had the pizza today, and I mean, it's awesome. Great flavor.
They also
Great
have
taste.
they also have other things if you don't like pizza: gyros, sandwiches, platters, salads, chef salads, cinnamon sticks, cheese sticks, breadsticks, and they have all different kinds of pizzas and calzones.
Did you say cinnamon sticks?
Cinnamon sticks, guys. So again, check them out. Specialty pizzas, any toppings. 4500 South May, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Again, call them and they'll have your pizza ready for you. 405-602-2838. Red and Blues Pizza. It's the only pizza of the Cine-Men movie podcast.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm Still sitting here full from all that pizza. Again, a big shout out. Thank you, Red and Blues Pizza. It's amazing pizza. Go check them out. Great food, and guess what? Just like San Marcos, even better customer service. Great people down there. So check them out. We highly recommend them.
Yeah, and if you go see them, tell them you heard it on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. So
Yeah.
that way they know that
This is working.
it is working.
Yeah.
So I mean, doing that not only helps us, but it helps them. It lets them know, like, hey, the word's getting out there, and we're actually getting new people in the door. So
We care about our listeners.
Yeah, and we also care about the people that we're talking about. So, like I said, we wouldn't talk about them if we didn't believe in their product and in their business. So, Red and Blues Pizza, we highly recommend them. Really good stuff, guys. But we're talking top 5. It's the list that keeps on giving, guys. We talk about it every single week, but this week we talk about our top 5 Russell Crowe movies. Anybody have any honorable mentions before we get started?
Yeah, I got 3. Man of Steel, The Nice Guys, and my official honorable mention, Cinderella Man.
Nice. I'm gonna rapid fire through mine. Unhinged, Nice Guys, and 310 to Yuma. And Next 3 Days. Craig, you have any?
nope.
All right, let's get into it.
5.
Zach, sir, start us off. Number 5 for you.
Number 5, getting ready since the Oscars are on Sunday, I kind of had the desire to rewatch this movie, Best Picture winner. Number 5 is A Beautiful Mind, with Russell Crowe, obviously, Jennifer Connelly, Paul Bettany, directed by Ron Howard. Very, very good film. I feel like this is one that's kind of been forgotten in the last. This movie came out 2001, almost 20 years ago, per se, 22 years ago. And it's, I think once you figure out what's really going on with John Nash, I think it's a really
Sad movie.
It's a terrible, sad film. And the fact that this is based off a true guy that was a brilliant mathematician, but his head was just not all there, to be honest. And it's just very moving. And I'm just really surprised that probably because he won for Gladiator the year prior, but Russell Crowe didn't win Best Actor, but Jennifer Connelly did, and she's fantastic in that.
Do you know who won Best Actor that year, 2001?
Go ahead and do yours, and I'll look it up. Oh, it's shot by Roger Deakins, and that's why it looks so good.
Oh yeah, tremendous looking film. My number 5. Sorry, some more of that great Red and Blues pizza all over my mouth. My number 5 is going to be Les Miserables. I mentioned it in my recent watches. This is one of my more favorite musicals.
You know who won Best Actor that year? Denzel for Training Day.
Oh yeah, rightfully deserved. Russell Crowe, take a seat. Again, my number 5, Les Miserables. Russell Crowe is just a tremendous actor in this movie because you enjoy hating his character. Also starring Hugh Jackman, Amanda Seyfried, Helena Bonham Carter, Sacha Baron Cohen. Great movie. So if you like musicals, I would recommend it. If you don't, honestly, Zach, or Craig, anybody out there listening, if you don't like musicals, I honestly wouldn't start with this one because this movie has a lot of music in it, and it's like 2:45, pretty girthy. But that is my number 5. I really love Les Miserables, so number 5 for me. Craig?
I don't mind musicals. It's just Hamilton don't cut it, bro.
I haven't even tried to start that movie yet. Maybe because it's 3 hours. I don't know.
Probably. Number 5 for me is going to be Man of Steel. I liked Russell Crowe's portrayal of Jor-El, I think was his name, right? Yeah. Superman's dad. I liked his portrayal. I liked just his bit of his dad. And yeah, it's just a good number 5 for me.
4.
Zach, sir, what do you have at number 4? Who do you have at number 4? What do you have at number 4?
5 different ways of saying that.
Yeah.
Number 4 is one that probably going to get on the shit list, but honestly is one of 3 movies I got to see during 2020 with the pandemic. Unhinged. Basically, you can make
Honorable mention.
You can make a lot of jokes about it's Fat Crowe and everything, but he's fucking brutal in that movie.
I don't think it's fair to sit there and call him names or anybody with Fat Crow.
Well, you know how people are.
I saw memes of they were like, you know what? That's what happens when you cut somebody off in the line at McDonald's. You got to say Russell Crowe delivered in that movie.
Yeah, he's brutal in that.
He was brutal, and I think it honestly. I heard he gained weight for the film because him as a heavier person looked more frightening.
Yeah.
So I got to say that movie almost made my number 5, but there was no way that I could put Les Miserables as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
So number 5, could have been Unhinged for me, but yeah, you're right, man. I don't think you or anybody should have any kind of fight for naming that movie because it is a really scary movie. And stuff like that happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think I enjoy the most about it. It's like it's road rage. Yeah. I think everyone in this room has had road rage at some point or encountered someone with road rage. So
not today, man. Not today.
So yeah, number 4 is Unhinged.
Number 4 for me. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we are talking about it today. Gladiator. Craig, number 4 for you.
Well, same thing. Gladiator, number 4 for me.
And we'll talk about it. So let's get into number 3. Zach, you just got done talking, but number 3 for you?
Number 3 is Gladiator. So we'll just go and skip me and go to your number 3.
Nice. Number 3 for me is going to be American Gangster. Speaking of Denzel, Russell Crowe, Josh Brolin, directed by Ridley Scott. Same director that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. So, American Gangster, man, is a phenomenal film. Denzel takes it back to him being gritty and being that bad guy like you saw him in Training Day. And Russell Crowe is hot, man, coming off of some of his movies. Denzel's always super hot, always on a hot flash, on a hot streak, coming off of all of his movies. 2 great actors meshing in this once-in-a-lifetime film. So, American Gangster, man, from 2007, number 3 for me. And honestly, the next 3 movies, American Gangster and my next 2, could flop at any moment. So, number 3 for me is American Gangster. Craig, number 3?
Number 3 for me is going to be 3:10 to Yuma. Love a good Western. With a cast like Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, Ben Foster, Logan Lerman, Peter Fonda, Dallas Roberts. It's just a great cast and a good overall movie. So that's going to be my number 3.
Zach, sir, what movie do you have at number 2?
My number 2 is your number 3, American Gangster. Like you said, directed by Ridley Scott. 2 great performances from Denzel and Russell Crowe. It's a damn shame that this movie didn't get more recognition than it did. You know what's interesting? This movie's like 3 hours long, but it flies. You get so invested in the story of like
characters,
Frank Lucas and everything, and his rise to power. And you honestly, I mean, Russell Crowe is kind of a gritty, terrible person in this movie, but you root for him in some weird way. So, number 2 is American Gangster.
My number 2 is, somebody already mentioned it, Cinderella Man from 2005. Another great performance, man, from this guy. Russell Crowe, Renee Zellweger, Paul Giamatti, and guess what? Again, directed by Ron Howard. You know what, guys? Let's talk about it for just a little bit. I wanted to save it for the actual episode, but man, Russell Crowe,
he has a good filmography.
Is he underrated?
Definitely.
I feel like some of the later roles that he's been getting, like Superman or Unhinged. Even though he's not in those, he's the star of Unhinged, but stuff like Superman, even though he's not in it for that long, one of the best pieces about the movie.
Yeah.
And your number 2, Cinderella Man. I really wish that I could have made that on my top 5. I just haven't seen it in years. It is on HBO Max.
It's on HBO Max.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. It's one that I wanted to fit into a recent watch, but I didn't get a chance to. But I'm definitely going to be rewatching it again soon. But man, again, my next movies could be flipped in any way. So Cinderella Man is number 2 for me. Craig, number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me is going to be, following in Zach's footsteps, American Gangster. I mean, what a year 2007 was for Russell Crowe. American Gangster and 3:10 to Yuma. Yeah. I mean, 3:10 to Yuma probably didn't get as much recognition as American Gangster did.
It should have.
That's a big year when you go back and look at how good those films are. So, Yeah, I mean, Zach, you kind of hit the nail on the head with American Gangster, so that's my number 2.
We're gonna definitely talk about Russell Crowe a little bit later on some more. But Zach, number 1 for you, your favorite Russell Crowe movie?
Number one, it took me a minute to kind of think about it, but for one, this is the one I always go back to is a 310 to Yuma. I think it's like you said, Craig. It's not only just a great movie, it's a damn good western. And you have a killer cast, a great story. And to be honest, like I've never really had the desire to never had the desire to watch the original because this one's just so good.
You don't need to. Just
No.
like I'll fight.
It's like True Grit.
True Grit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fight anybody any day when it comes to the remake of True Grit. It's such an amazing film. 310 to Yuma. Certain movies are like, oh yeah, that's a good western, but not a good movie.
Yeah, this is both.
This is a great film.
Yeah.
So
And it's directed by James Mangold, who did Ford vs. Ferrari, Logan, a whole bunch of other great films.
my number 1 is gonna be I watched it and had it in my recent watches. A Beautiful Mind. The movie takes you one way, and you think that it's gonna go this way, but it goes the complete opposite. I know it's a 20-year-old movie, but I'm not going to get into some spoilers just in case you haven't seen it. It's a really good movie. Paul Bettany, like Zach said, Jennifer Connelly steals the show with how good she is in this movie. And, I mean, beautiful actress. And you can tell it in this movie. Russell Crowe steals, like I said, Zach, I think it's because he won it the year prior for Gladiator.
Yeah,
But he would have been in Tom Hanks' mention if he won it back-to-back.
that would be awesome.
And I think he deserved it.
And Christopher Plummer's in it too.
Christopher Plummer, and then also Ed Harris.
Yep.
So
Good old Ed Harris.
He deserved the win.
Yeah.
But when you go up against Training Day, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
That was a hard year. Yeah.
But I mean, breaking news. You've heard it here, but Training Day is going to be an episode in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
April's schedule has not been released yet, but I can promise
We're going to
Training
talk about
Day.
that. Yeah.
Next month. So Craig, finish us off with
I'll finish you off.
your number 1 Russell Crowe movie.
Me personally, I think this is.
I hope this is your number 1. I don't know. I hope.
What do you think it is?
Personally, I think it's The Nice Guys.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because
Because we saw that in theaters and we laughed our fucking asses off.
yeah, the chemistry with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe was amazing. Russell Crowe sort of as a just a
Good cop, bad cop kind of movie.
Yeah.
good cop, jackass cop.
Yeah.
Really just doesn't care how he gets things done. Only kind of cares about himself, which plays into the movie. But man,
I feel like that's very underrated movie.
It is.
the chemistry between the two with
Episode?
how I would be down for it. Like you said, we laughed hysterically when we watched it. When I went back and watched it, it hit just as good as the first time.
What is it on? Is it on anything, Zach? Check why he's talking about his number 1?
But it also, the little girl is also she's in Spider-Man, the blonde girl that dates Ned.
And she held her own against Russell Crowe and
Sure.
Ryan Gosling. I mean, she was excellent.
Yeah. But man, it's just it's
funny
one of
movie.
those it's one of those witty 2-man comedies that I think doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah, we need to do an episode. It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Yep.
You know, because people talk about the other guys with Will Ferrell.
This
and
is
Mark
way
Wahlberg,
better.
Yeah.
But it's it's a 2-man cop, and I think it's at the top of the list,
Yeah.
but is underappreciated.
It's a black comedy, and it shouldn't be that funny, but you're
Yeah. I mean, I think that sounds good. That'd be fun to talk about it maybe the first episode of April. 2 weeks.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Make it nice and simple.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's funny that you kind of knew that that's what my number 1 was going to be.
Yeah.
But
It's a fun movie. Alright guys, don't forget this episode is also brought to you by OKC Soda Company, the craft soda company of Oklahoma. Super unique flavors like strawberry milkshake and blueberry, made with pure cane sugar and all natural flavors. Grab you a case at your local Homeland stores. And guess what? Breaking news, go check it out at Pruitt's Foods in Oklahoma City on Expressway and Hefner Parkway. all the soda that you need for your parties. Grab a 6-pack for just $4.99 at Pruitt's Foods in OKC. OKC Soda Company, the only soda beverage of the Cine-Men movie podcast. All right, guys, what a fun top 5. We just talked about our top 5 Russell Crowe movies. So go check it out and send us in your top 5 Russell Crowe movies, and we'll read it out on next week's episode. I'm going to get into some of the social media posts a little bit later on, too, and read out some of people's top 5 Russell Crowe movies. But guys, it's time. Before we get into the movie, Zach, you want to lead the charge? We're going to have some director talk in this new segment that we started at the beginning of the year, and we're going to talk about Ridley Scott. Tremendous director, highly praised director. So I want to talk about him.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I think, everyone in this room at some point or another has seen a Ridley Scott movie. I think the guy truly is, up there with some of the greatest filmmakers we've had. He, I think he cares a lot about lore and mythology in his movies, and so I think it's interesting he can do science fiction with Alien and Blade Runner, and then historical fiction with Kingdom of Heaven,
House of Gucci,
The Last Duel, and then he can do crime like American Gangster.
All the Money in the World.
Let me go through his filmography real quick. Alien, Blade Runner, Legend, Thelma and Louise, G.I. Jane, Gladiator, Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men, which I think is very underrated for a Nicolas Cage movie, Kingdom of Heaven, which I really, really enjoy, A Good Year, which is another Russell Crowe movie, American Gangster, Body of Lies, which is Russell and Leo.
Crowe. Yeah, good movie.
Robin Hood, which is another. He's worked with Russell a lot.
Yeah.
Prometheus, depending on how you are about the Alien films,
Russell Crowe was actually an alien in that movie.
Yeah, basically. The Counselor. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Exodus, Gods and Kings, The Martian, which I think we were going to do an episode on maybe later this year, Alien Covenant, All the Money in the World, House of Gucci, The Last Duel, and then he has a new Apple TV series, Napoleon. And I think, and supposedly, and we can get into it later in the episode, he's going to do
Gladiator.
Yep, that's what he's going to do after Napoleon.
So
I think the guy is truly remarkable, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he actually storyboards everything he does. It's just truly incredible.
I'm not going to name off any of my favorites just yet because he has so many, but he's another director who probably deserves his own episode one day.
Yeah,
a top 5 plus 5 Ridley Scott or a top 5 Ridley Scott movie. So
when you sit there and name off all of those films that he's done, it's just like
Spielberg when you start thinking about it.
I mean, it's like big name after big name after big name with, Prometheus may be a film that it's not as viewed as highly as the others, but when you say Prometheus, you still know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So,
and I know Craig, you weren't big on The Last Duel, but you can appreciate like what he was doing.
I mean, it was. I just don't like the way it was.
It was told,
delivered. Yeah, I mean, if it was delivered as a single one way through, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. It doesn't diminish how the movie was done, though.
And believe it or not, he's been nominated, obviously, but he's never won Best Director at the Oscars. And everyone thought he was going to win it for Gladiator.
that's a shame, but that's what we're talking about today. Gladiator. Man, we were going to talk about this a few years ago when it did hit its 20th anniversary, but it just didn't get done. But we're talking about it today. Gladiator, with a release date of May 5th, 2000. Sorry. IMDb has it at 8.5. Rotten Tomatoes at 77%. The Metascore is at 67%, while the Google users have it at 92%. It was nominated for 12 Oscars it was nominated in every single category that it was up against. But with only 5 Oscar wins, with a budget of $103 million, it grossed a little over $460 million at the box office. Starring Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, Oliver Reed, Richard Harris, Damon Hasu, directed by Ridley Scott. You can check it out now on Pluto TV for free, or the anniversary 4K is still out there for $20. So go check it out. You could probably also pick up a copy at CDR right here locally in Oklahoma City. A former Roman general sets out to exact vengeance against the corrupt empire who murdered his family and sent him into slavery. Gladiator, guys, let's get into it. Zach, I'm going to start with you. Do you remember the first time that you got to set your eyes on Gladiator, and what was it like revisiting it for the episode?
So this is probably a movie. This is a movie I've seen probably twice in its entirety, to be honest. This is definitely a movie. I don't know about you guys. It's always been one that was shown in the world history. When we got to the Roman Empire and the gladiators, they always showed sections of the film, or in most cases, the whole entire movie. I remember like the first time I saw just bits and pieces of it, I was really enthralled by it. I thought it was kind of a cool film. And then on this rewatch, like I still think it's a very, very good film, but it's not one that like I'll return to probably for another couple years, to be honest. So
I've only seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times in its entirety. The first time I remember watching it, probably when I was in high school, I didn't enjoy it then. Now I appreciate it a lot more than what I did then. It's a really good movie when you sit there and just dissect it and think about the story. But again, Zach, with you, at least with the extended version, I don't think I could watch that 3-hour movie every year.
yeah.
Craig, what about you, man? Do you remember the first time you watched it, and how was it revisiting it for the episode? Let's hear it.
I think I don't remember ever watching it in its entirety prior to this. I'm sure I did, but I just never really paid attention. It might have been like on a TV and was going through something on like a Thanksgiving day, but yeah, first time that I can remember watching it in its entirety. So yeah, we'll talk about it.
We went through it, man. This movie really kind of starts off you getting to see Russell Crowe as Maximus, as the Roman general that he is. He's a badass general in the movie, and that's how it starts off. Would you guys say that it starts off slow? And anybody can jump in. Who had pacing issues with this movie? Zach,
Yes.
You watched the extended version. I watched the extended. Craig, theatrical.
It was Voodoo was only theatrical.
Theatrical, still 2.5 hours. I had some small pacing issues with it.
I mean,
I just to me it felt like where the story was progressing didn't feel like it was progressing enough.
Mhm.
If you get what I'm saying, like.
And it's a real simple story. If you sit down and break it down,
It is simple.
It's real simple. Exactly. That's why I picked that synopsis to read, because it really is a former Roman general goes out for revenge because the corrupt empire, Joaquin Phoenix, slapped him up, put him in slavery, and killed his family. And then Russell Crowe's character Maximus finds out that his quote unquote brother killed my family, and guess what? I'm going out and doing whatever I can to get revenge.
Mhm.
But there is some hiccups along the way, and I'm not going to lie, you do have some really good performances and fight scenes in between. But
After the initial 30 minutes, the fight scenes do get better. But that initial fight scene where
the armies battle
the
in the
armies
forest.
are battling is
Mhm.
not very good.
you did like it?
I didn't appreciate how it did the whole kind of the frames per second dropped on screen. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't slow-mo, but it was just kind of a choppy,
Yeah, it was very.
trying to be
Yeah.
cinematic.
It was choppy and trying to do first person
Yeah.
perspective of the battle.
Now,
I just don't think it was done very well.
I will say in the extended version, you do get really graphic fight sequences in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the amputee in the theatrical version with his leg dangling. He already had the leg chopped off. I don't know if that was in the extended cut, but the extended cut is just very, very gruesome.
Yeah.
So
The violence is just more realistic,
Yeah.
if you will.
Kick it up a notch.
you do see Joaquin Phoenix's. To me, the movie really kicks off when he kills his dad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who is the original Dumbledore,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken, right? From
Yep.
The first Harry Potter movie.
First two. Yep.
So that scene that's the scene I'm going to start off with, honestly, because Maximus is still a general at that time.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, and they tell him that he's his father symbol
Yeah.
is dead, and he's like, the dude was kind of healthy. There's no way he could just fall over and die.
Well, and this is after he tells them that he wants him to take over as heir,
Yeah.
even though he's not his true blood
Yep.
heir.
And it becomes a jealous brother bond thing.
Almost like Thor.
Yeah.
But I Maximus didn't want it, right? If I can remember, he just wanted to go home to his family.
Yeah, that was like his main priority of like, I've done your battles, I've fought your fights, just let me go home.
Yeah, I've won the war for you. Give, and that title. It's not really king, is it king? Can we call him king?
I think it was emperor.
Emperor.
Yeah, emperor.
He didn't want the emperor job. He was like, you know what? Let me just go home. I just want to be with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fine. He was fine with that. Let Commodore, right? What's his name?
Commodus.
Let Commodus be emperor. Let him take it. I don't want it. Let me just go home to my family. And then magically, Dumbledore passes away. What did you guys think of the scene of Commodus killing him with?
Does he
pillow?
smother him?
Yeah, he smothers him.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the camera is like right there, just kind of. It's like under the shoulder a little bit, if I remember correctly, but
just above the shoulder, but you can still get like plain what he's doing.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, this movie was nominated for all 12 Oscars, but it won for Best Picture, Actor in a Leading Role, Russell Crowe, Costume, Best Sound, and Best Effects. I gotta say, I got a nitpick.
Go ahead.
My nitpick is going to be that I feel like Joaquin Phoenix should have won Best Supporting Actor for this role.
Oh.
Russell Crowe was great in this movie, don't get me wrong, but I feel like if you don't have Joaquin Phoenix, this movie is not going to be very good.
Yeah, well,
he was this movie for me.
And to me, I think, he's ultimately the big bad, and like if you don't hate him, if you don't hate that character, it's not going to work.
And he plays a really good big bad.
Yeah.
From start to finish, he is somebody that you just he's a really good actor when he wants you to hate him.
Yeah.
And he does that from start to finish in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't.
That's
my only nitpick as far as like these awards that year.
Yeah. And the funny thing is like, when you first get introduced to Commodus and Lucilia, who's Connie Nielsen's character, they're like traveling in the wagon and whatever, and it's just at first you think they're lovers, and then you realize it's like, oh, they're brother and sister. It's just like, this is kind of awkward.
You know what? It never showed, but I think that Commodus was using her as that figure. Yeah. I think he was, whether you want to say molesting or having, sexual encounters with her, I think that was going on. I just don't think Ridley Scott was.
He didn't want to take it to that point.
Yeah, he wasn't gutsy enough to put that in the movie. Well, but I think you don't need it, I don't think. Yeah. Because their interactions in the movie,
well, he even tells her like, you're going to give me an heir for the next, and we're going to rule for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah. And he lays her down numerous times and lays with her, so you can get it. You can get it going on.
And by that point, when Commodus says that to his sister, it's just like, oh, so like you're so unforgivable, like you need to die by that point.
Yeah. Real Game of Thrones action going on.
True. I want to back up just a little bit. Right after Commodus kills his father, Maximus is getting ready to be locked up, and he's in cuffs, and they're holding him back. And all Maximus is like, he's like, they're gonna do away with me. That's fine. I'm fine with that. He tells the right hand guy, he's like, just take and watch over my daughter or my son and my wife.
Yeah. And doesn't he say something like, make it a clean cut or something?
Make it a clean cut, make it fast.
Yeah.
And the line that is used when they say to Maximus, they're like, your family will meet you in the afterlife.
They'll meet the same fate as you.
Yeah, they'll meet the same fate as you. And he just completely explodes. And I'm like, man, that's some pretty heavy dialogue. Well, like he's telling him as he's going to get ready to go get his head cut off that they're going to die.
Well, and that's like a basic theme throughout the rest of the film, because it's just him. Not only, when he finally goes back to his family when the whole village has been burnt down and they're hanging from the tree or whatever, that to me is, that ultimately is, I think, his end goal by the end of the film. He doesn't, even though he slayed evil, all this and that, he survived every Gladiator game there is, he just wants to be with his family. And I think him, jumping way, way ahead, that ending is what his ultimate goal was.
Yeah, he just wanted to get a few things accomplished along the way.
Yeah.
Unfinished business before he met with his family. What did you guys think of that scene where he breaks away from, he knows that the sword is frozen in the holder. He breaks away, and then after he breaks away, he goes and sees his family.
Well, because they're about to, just chop off his neck like they would as a
prisoner
execution style. And he's like, well, can I at least get a soldier's death? And I guess it's a lot more humane or something to do it the way they do it. Maybe sever the spine and it's not as, you probably don't feel as much supposedly, but he knew he was going to do it and he's able to get out of it. So the whole writing to his family after that point, you can just see that he's obviously wounded and he's kind of fading in and out. And you see those dreams that he has of meeting his family.
Oh, those flashes, yeah.
Like when he pulls up, he's going to meet his family, and it's ultimately again jumping ahead what he sees whenever he's kind of going to the light. But that was, I felt like the ride was a little too long. They probably could have cut it down, but
this movie is really, really choppy as far as like what could have been cut in and cut out.
Yeah,
I feel like a 2 hour and 35-minute movie that feels like it was the extended version. There's a lot of people though who really dig the extended version. I watched the extended version just because I wanted to get that feel. But I think again, if you're comparing and contrasting, the average fan and the director probably loves the extended version. Russell Crowe and the Oscars and the Academy, they obviously nominated the theatrical version. It's the movie that won the award. So, Zach, do you remember the difference between the two? I know there's a 30-minute difference, but
I mean, to me, like you said, it was just more graphic action sequences. That's basically what the main thing is. There's a little bit more dialogue with him and Proximus, Oliver Reed's character. But other than that, I mean, that's the main difference. There's not like a subsection of plot missing or anything. So what do we? But I think it is a powerful moment when he gets back to the village and he just like falls on his knees and there's like drool hanging from his mouth. It's just like he's just unconsolable.
So believable.
Yeah.
Well, but when the guards come up to the house, whenever they initially get there, and the kid runs out and he thinks his dad's arrived. Yeah. And that horse just straight up Aaron Donald's the shit out of him. And you're just like, oh my God. Like you usually don't just see stuff like that. And so you knew at that moment, like anything and everything was going to be done to this family, especially after you saw that. So, but yeah, whenever he pulls up and he sees all the bodies burnt and the crops in the fields, you just know something's going to be done to the mom and the kid. And then obviously he walks up and he sees the feet hanging, and you're just kind of like, there it is.
You get introduced to the second base villagers and the slaves. Demon Hassoon's in there. What do you guys think of just the general fight and the training to be a gladiator? Did you guys enjoy seeing the backstage story?
Yeah, I mean, I think
of the slaves and the gladiator training.
I think it shows light that they kind of separated them. They were like, okay, you have some fighting styles. You're going to be painted red, and then you're
going to die instantly.
You're there to be one of the first kills. You're there for entertainment. You already, it is what it is.
Did it ever explain why they call him the Spaniard?
Because he probably looked like a Spaniard. They didn't know exactly where he's from. He was just picked up. So
just like a nickname that came about. I did like, when he's knocked out unconscious on the wagon, you see just different aspect, like kind of like first person footage of like, oh, there's a hyena, there's a tiger, there's different subsections of villagers that they picked up along the way.
You saw the wound had maggots in it.
Very detailed. I mean, that's one thing I can say and appreciate about some of these longer movies and these movies. I mean, we're on the road to the Oscars. We got just one more week to go, and the next week we talk about the winners and The Godfather. The end all be all of that award, to me at least. stuff you get in this movie that you don't get in maybe some other movies, maybe some big popcorn movies or action movies, is you don't get that kind of detailed direction.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I could say, if you want to take an Empire Roman movie and compare it to a popcorn movie against a classic award-winning film, watch 300 and watch Gladiator. Completely different movies.
Yeah.
One's your average popcorn action film, and then the other one is going to be a classic, toned down, detailed, artsy, award-winning film.
Well,
Don't get me wrong, 300 is really good. I love 300. But when it comes to the detailed artwork, Gladiator knocks it out of the park.
There's definitely a difference in styles and direction of those.
well, one's Ridley Scott's, one's Zack Snyder.
Right.
So, but I mean, you say this is
Just
artsy.
to compare.
No, you're good. But you say this is an artsy film. This movie was a summer release. This was released in May.
Yeah.
And it survived all the way to the Oscars, so that's pretty impressive. And there's like if you have the Blu-ray on the second disc, there's like a 3.5-hour documentary about them making the movie. I watched a little bit of it, and they were just like, it was like, yeah, this is gonna be like they had faith in it, but they didn't think it would get like this, Best Picture winner.
But I think that's the difference between a Zack Snyder and a Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Is the director. One person can put together a tremendous film that can last 6 months to a year and still get nominated. The other movie is mediocre.
It's really hot at it gets really hot and it burns out really fast.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, 300 did stick around for quite a while, but it was more of just your
It became like a joke.
like a typical, not a typical, but it was just like you're gonna watch it, you're gonna enjoy it. There's no background to it. There's no, this is what the Roman Empire was. This is how the Romans acted. It was just like, this is the story of
Maximus.
No, in 300.
Oh,
Gerard Butler's character.
We know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is his character, this is what he did, this is how they died. Whereas this in Gladiator it's a story of a Roman general, and this is how he was betrayed, and this was the road back through slavery and all that.
Leonidas, that's the name.
And it's just very, like you said, it's more detailed. One's big picture with a little bit of story, and one's very detailed with kind of like, it was very just like a small story. It's like, it's between two people, whereas it was between kind of countries with 300.
And I think that's the interesting thing. Like you said, I think you can do. I'm sure there's been thousands of movies about the Roman Empire, but I mean, like, you just take like a little nugget of like you said, it's just a character piece between two people, but it's just this big overarching empire or world, whatever you want to call it. One thing I will highly say about this movie is that this it'll be 22 years old this year. The visual effects in it are still incredible.
They were pretty good. Yeah.
The big wide shots of the Roman cities and everything, they still look good.
The cinematography of being on location, shooting the wide shots, very, very tremendous shot film.
And the score by Hans Zimmer, I mean, I think that's pretty much lasted until today. I mean, you hear those themes and like movie trailers today, and so that's pretty remarkable.
And you know what? When you go back and you might even hear some of those scores this Sunday.
Yeah. Watching
the Oscars, they play the different amounts of songs throughout the show. You're gonna probably hear some of those Hans Zimmer
clips from the movie. Yeah.
And that's another thing. This movie is so just popular as far as like, are you not entertained?
Yeah.
The whole thumbs down.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix going out there and say, "Slave, rise!" Remove your helmet at once. Stuff like that is just being played over and over again. But I want you guys to disagree or agree with me. If Joaquin Phoenix is not in this movie for me, I don't think it does it for me as the bad guy.
I mean,
you said Jude Law was going to be in that movie. Yeah, no, wouldn't have watched it. Terrible.
I think you need like you said, I think you need a really good bad guy to hate that you want Maximus to succeed. But to me, I think it really does ride on Russell Crowe, because if you don't like him, then you don't really have a movie.
70% of the time.
Yeah.
And he was a tremendous gladiator, man. He was a badass. He was
He
killing
was
people,
likable.
winning it left and right, real charming. And then if you break it down, really the scene of him sobbing when his family is dead,
Mm-hmm.
that's the scene that I think wins him the Oscar.
Yeah.
That's his scene right there. And that's the scene that when the Academy probably went back and looked at, what scene are we going to look at? That's the scene.
Yeah.
So
And I think one of the interesting things is when he gets with Proximo, who's basically the owner of the slave camp. He's I think he's just not misjudged, but he's given a second look after the first Gladiator round, and they kind of round up who the best fighters are. And I think the biggest piece of advice that he gives Maximus is win the crowd. You win the crowd, you're good. It's based. I mean, you got to survive, but if you have,
that's what they say out there in the WWE.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, because like that first fight, he does go out there and he performs and he does what he's supposed to do. He's a general. He kills. There are no crowds out in the fields like that. You're fighting to survive at that point out there.
Yeah.
Whereas here it is entertainment, as they called it. You have to make sure that you're not only fighting to survive, but you're fighting to win over the crowd and make sure that they love you. Because if they don't love you, they're going to turn against you. And in today's sporting events, I mean, why do you play at home? Because you have home field advantage. It just gives you that edge whenever you have the crowd behind you.
What do you think of that scene where he is finally in the Coliseum and he fights that guy that's supposedly undefeated? And he's got the face shield and he's got the mask on, but until he really gets into it, Maximus doesn't really have the face shield or anything. That was a brutal scene itself, with the tigers jumping out and the escape doors popping out, and
the Tigers of Gal and the tigers come out from underneath the floor. Yeah.
And then what do you guys think of that scene? To me, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't know what scene to call it, so I just called it him versus the undefeated guy, because that guy supposedly was undefeated.
I think it's just the most this is what the Coliseum probably was back then. It's just no hold barred.
Trapdoors, no trapdoors.
I mean, if they wanted to put on a show in order to get something across, they were going to do it regardless of what it cost.
Yeah. And I remember studying this in high school or middle school or whatever, but I mean, they did not just use tigers. There was bears, there was lions, there was hyenas, there was rhinos. Anything that you could probably think of, they used in these fights.
And back in those times, if the bear killed the human, cool, entertainment.
All right.
But if the bear was killed, they probably feasted on it that night.
Yeah.
So
or they could sell the meat.
It was a win-win back in those times.
I didn't mention him when I was talking about the cast, but Spencer Clark played Lucius, the little boy. I wanted to mention this scene to you guys. You guys talk about it if you want. The scene where Commodus sits down with Lucius and his sister and tells him the bedtime story, kind of.
Yeah.
And then you see Joaquin Phoenix tear up as he's telling him the betrayal story because he feels that that's what she's going to do to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's that dude's Oscar moment. I'm like, why did he not get it?
You see, that for me, I thought his Oscar moment was when he was talking to Lucius and he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I want to be a gladiator." It's just like you could just see the irritation on his face.
Yeah, that's the kickoff of that scene. That's the lead up to that scene. So I would say, yeah, you're right. From that point to the time he sits down, that's Joaquin Phoenix.
He tells about the busy bee or the bee worker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tremendous damn story. And I'm like, man, this is some good stuff. Good stuff right here.
Yeah. Never mind. I'll leave it there.
Go ahead, bring it up. No.
I don't want to because I'll tell you after the.
That's gonna lead in. Is it talking about the Joker?
No, it's talking about something else.
Oh. But you know what? You get another. How good a scene is this? Right after this scene, you get the scene where they go snag. Well, I jumped a little bit ahead. Right before that is when you get Maximus taking off his helmet and saying, "I am the gladiator. I am. You killed. He wants.
I'm your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Basically.
You killed my family. I want my revenge."
Yeah.
Commodus doesn't even risk it. He locks him up, puts him downstairs. The sister goes downstairs, and he's like, "Guess what?
Get me out of here.
Pretend you don't know me."
Yeah.
So kind of skipping all around though, the scene that I'm talking about after the bedtime story is when Commodus is like they're out in the dungeon or down below, and he's like locked up and still handcuffed, and Commodus is like, "I want to fight you," you know, and then he stabs him in
Yeah.
the kidney,
Yeah.
and now he's like, "Smile for me now, brother,"
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Damn it.
it's getting good.
Yeah, I mean, so as Commodus knows, he's not going to be able to beat him straight up, so he gives him that little, kind of wound shot that will probably most likely it should have taken him out before he got a hold of Commodus, but he's like quickly cover him up with the armor so that nobody can see because he wants when Lucius the little boy tells him he's like Maximus the savior of Rome, he's like I'm the savior of Rome. These people are supposed to love me. I'm supposed to be the apple of everybody's eye in Rome, and that's why he does that because he's like, if I defeat Maximus, the savior of Rome, I therefore am the savior of Rome. So in his eyes, he's like kind of playing everything almost as a play in this.
Because if he beats Maximus, like you said, but he also gets the support of the people.
He wants it to be very storytelling, and that's that's in those days that's what you had. You had stories of great warriors and great leaders, and I think that's just all he wanted is to be known as somebody in history.
Yeah. What do you guys think of just some of the classic artwork or some of the old school
On the armor,
not the armor but the statues,
Yeah.
the just the old time
detail.
statues, the detail of how real they look, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you can see those statues of those kings and those people today, but I'm like, man, I would like to go to that place, whether it's
Rome?
in Rome, and just see all that build up, like when
See
in
the
Rome.
Colosseum,
Yeah,
yeah.
when in Rome, man, and that stuff. Is it hard to just sit here and realize that stuff that we saw in that movie that they made for is real?
Yeah.
Like you can go to Rome and go see that stuff, and I'm like,
You can go see the Coliseum.
Yeah.
It's it's
It's in
awesome.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
like it's kind of just like mind-boggling, dude. That like stuff like that still exists and they take care of it over there,
Yeah.
and those are historical icons
Well,
and moments.
I mean, I know the United States has a lot of monuments over here with, I guess, the Grand Canyon. I don't know, but I mean, over in Europe, I mean, you got like the pyramids, the Colosseum, the Eiffel Tower. I understand the Eiffel Tower is fairly new, but I mean,
What do you guys
the
think?
amount of culture over there?
So
It's unreal.
the name Maximus is heard throughout entire history. Do you guys think that it's like a King Louis, how there's 15 different King Louis, or do you guys think that there was one true Maximus?
I think Commodus is a real person that lived. His father was a real person. I think Maximus is a real version. It's a character that's based off a real person. It's just we take dramatic licenses and just change it up a little bit.
Zach, you said you did stuff like this in high school on the paper and stuff like that throughout maybe college. Does this stuff like this, like whether it's the movie or real life, does it ever make any of you guys want to go to Rome and be like, man, I want to see some of that stuff one day?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think it would be amazing to go over there and see the Colosseum in person. The fact that it's huge. The floors. The floor's not there, but you get to see all the little archways and entryways and tunnels that they use to bring animals up and people up, and it's incredible. So
on location,
just go record on location
Yeah.
in the
let's
Coliseum.
go yeah.
Reporting live.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that Ridley Scott was going to do. I think he was working on Hannibal or Black Hawk Down or something, or getting ready to do another film, and his producer or liaison who always helps him make the movies, he was sent a picture of a painting, a real famous painting, and that's what got him interested in doing the Gladiator movie. Nice. And the painting itself is really detailed and really cool looking. So,
where did you find that painting at? You'll have to send that painting to me, and I'll put it up on the podcast. Facebook page.
Just Google Gladiator painting, and it's the first picture that comes up.
Gladiator painting, nice.
Yeah.
So you get the final fight.
They all have their thumbs down, like
live. You get the final fight, and you get Maximus and Commodus going up and just. I know they didn't shoot on location, but how awesome did the Coliseum look with the people in there?
Yeah, and it's just digital. It's a combination of combination of digital extras and real extras.
Yeah. Fun scene every time you see the Coliseum up there. The final fight, guys. What did you think of the battle of Commodus and Maximus?
He goes out like a bitch.
You think so?
Commodus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not Maximus, but Commodus does, because he's trying to, like you said, put his name in history, and it just totally backfires. Even though Maximus is wounded, he still kicks his ass.
Well, and at the same time, you see all the guards that are supposed to be protecting Commodus, and he's like, "Give me a sword, give me a sword." And it's like, "Oh, dude, this is
on you.
You wanted to fight as a gladiator in the Colosseum. You're going to fight like one of them. There's no handouts. You put yourself in the situation."
And at that point, I would say the moment he lost his sword, he knew he lost the fight.
Yeah.
But even
though he knew he had a dagger up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think he still knew he lost the fight, and Maximus was like wanting it. He was like, "I'm not going to try to go for my sword. It's on.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you with my bare hands." And he did. And he technically did. He stabbed him in the throat with his own switchblade.
Yeah.
So,
and I like Maximus is going out, basically. It's just kind of, he's just there having his hallucination or vision or whatever, and he just, finally tells the people what
Aurelius
really wanted. And, I mean, he dies, and basically his sister, not his sister, but
it's very Romeo and Juliet-esque.
Yeah. Shakespearean.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Commodus' sister is just like, is Rome worth one good man's life? And basically you honor him.
So Maximus kills Commodus with his own switchblade, shanks him just like in the Shawshank Redemption. So, which is an episode that we did back in the day, just last year. We did the Shawshank Redemption.
You're not allowed to use big words anymore.
Sorry, I didn't take my pills. But so no, you get Commodus dying right there. Kind of resembles the last duel. And then dude, it was honestly kind of a sad moment, man. Maximus lays down there, and I'm gonna ask: do you guys think he dies? Do you think it's official, or do you think there's talks that he's doing Gladiator 2? Is Gladiator 2 gonna be with Lucius, or did he survive? I mean, the sister closes his eyes, so you would think that he passed away. A lot of people think he did pass away, but I mean, hell, they could.
I think it'd be a little bit of a cop out if they change that ending, if they do decide to make another one, because I think it's a little bit more epic that he goes out that way than just saying, "Oh no, like he survived."
Let's give it the old Scream twist ending.
Yeah.
No, I think he died as well. Especially Damon Hansoon's words at the end of the movie were pretty perfect. Talking about we'll see again.
It's not my time, not yet.
Yeah. Well, that's again that maybe it's not his time. Maybe they closed his eyes and he was just in a coma. I don't know. Do you guys think he died? And if Gladiator 2, let's do some fantasy booking. If Gladiator 2 comes out, what's it about?
You're right. They said there's not an exact plot out, but it's going to follow Lucius.
Oh.
So, and they're probably going to get Chris Hemsworth to do that.
Oh. To play Lucius?
Makes sense.
Does it? Does it really?
Who else would you see in a Gladiator movie?
How about let's get the guy who fucking played Lucius. Spencer Clark looks pretty good, okay? He was in the original Gladiator as the young boy. Let him reprise his role.
Don't he look like Paul Dano now?
He does. But no, Chris Hemsworth, I mean, do you think he could do you think he could put on he could put on though a tremendous
But
have Matt Damon do it.
Who?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon?
Have Matt Damon do Lucius.
I just like,
I don't
do
think-
we need a sequel to this?
We
No,
don't.
we don't.
This movie is perfect the way it ends. And I don't think we really need a sequel with Chris Hemsworth in it. But who knows? I'm already pissed. We don't need a sequel to Gladiator.
He does kind of look like Paul Dano.
Does he really? He looks like Paul Dano and
There Will Be Blood.
no, there's
I think he's a good-looking cat.
I don't know. I'll say it later. Go ahead.
Um,
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, he does.
if Haley Joe Osment didn't eat himself. But no,
He probably had some delicious red and blues pizza.
that's true. But yeah, I guess Chris Hemsworth makes sense. You know what? Channing Tatum put that kind of gear on. Put Channing Tatum in there. He was in
Magic Mike it up.
The Eagle. That's a Roman type movie.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
So this is why I get paid the big bucks. Okay, I bring up movies like The Eagle.
You guys are getting paid. The Eagle, isn't that the one about the skiing?
No,
Well,
that one is
Eddie
too.
the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle.
That's a real movie. Yeah.
I get paid the little bucks to bring up those names.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, I guess, but
You don't want it.
I don't want it.
It's again, like you said, it's one of those films that I don't think needs to have any more leading off in it, especially 20 years later.
Yeah.
That's true. So you guys, he is dead, I guess. Then, what did you guys think of the final scene where he walks in and meets his family in the heavenly gates of Roman?
It's what the opening dream was. It's kind of full circle.
Yep. I would agree with that.
So
It is what it is.
I mean, it like you said.
But you know who else might be able to tear down the Roman Empire? It's WrestleMania week almost. I gotta throw some kind of Roman Reigns plot twist in there. He also, he is head of the table too. Anyway, I'm
No
done.
more WWE.
I'm done. Speaking of plugs, guys, we're gonna get ready to get into our favorite scenes. Zach, do you have any favorite scenes you want to name off of The Gladiator? I also do think this movie should have been named The Gladiator, not just Gladiator. My thoughts, my opinion.
That's probably what the sequel is going to be called. The Gladiator.
I feel like the just brings it to the table.
I would say probably, like you said, Johnny, the Tigers of Gaul, and plus the tigers coming out of the Colosseum floor was a very excellent scene. The chariots and the arrows scene where Maximus is kind of like got to teach them to like huddle up and don't get shot by the arrows and everything was really good. Are You Entertained was a great scene. And honestly, the conversation between him and Commodus right before the final fight where he cheats and stabs him under the arm. I thought that was kind of the summary of the entire film. So,
Craig, what about you? You have any favorite scenes?
I'm gonna follow Zach on all of those. Those are literally the ones I was gonna name. So maybe if I was to throw in one or two more, when he finds his family and he's crying, and then
That's a favorite scene, guy? You sick son of a... No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just teasing you. You like seeing them burnt feet just laying
enjoy
there?
art. He did kiss feet. He had a little kink going on. So
That reminded me of the scene from Jojo Rabbit.
oh yeah, that scene.
Jojo Rabbit. But yeah, I'll just go with those.
If I had to name any favorite scenes, it would be Maximus breaking out of the death, and then him finding his family. Craig, I agree with you. I like seeing Russell Crowe.
Oh, you
Yeah.
sick son of a.
I am. I do enjoy Russell Crowe sobbing at those burnt feet. The gladiator training sequences are fun. The reveal that Maximus is Maximus and he's not a slave and he's not like a true... Well, he is a true gladiator, but he's not like who he is. That's a great scene. Smile for me now, brother, and he stabs him. Tremendous dialogue. And then the bedtime story to Lucius. Again, how good is Joaquin Phoenix in this movie? Every scene that he's in, oh my god. this every scene that he's in this movie is good for me. So, and I enjoy. So, if you guys want to send us your star ratings of Gladiator, by all means, send it to us at CINEMEN921 at gmail.com, and we will read them out next week. We already got some emails this week about Gladiator, so Craig, you said you weren't too fond of Gladiator. Let me know why, and let me see your star rating. Let me see that rating.
I just, I mean, I know this movie was made in 2006. 2000, sorry. I don't know why I said 2006.
Almost 22 years ago.
I don't know. It just, like you said, the visual effects was good. The dialogue was good. The fighting after the first, 30 minutes is good.
I think maybe just the pacing threw you off. Maybe you're just twiddling your thumbs during some of the slow-paced themes. Which is fine, because I mean, it is a slow-paced movie at times.
The opening, fight scene with the army just was kind of weird. It just felt like it started off incomplete. Like the film felt like it was very incomplete to start. Once you got past the death of Aurelius, I think it picked up a little bit.
You didn't like the movie starting mid fight.
I think it was okay. It just felt like the way it was done wasn't very good, and I don't know. Ridley Scott just has a way of pissing me off with these kind of films.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I'm glad you say that, because I was really thinking, I'm like, okay, he didn't like The Last Duel. If he likes Gladiator, maybe he should give The Last Duel another shot. But you didn't. You like.
I just don't think the Gladiator is
those
all
are your
that
type
it's
of movies
set out to be.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the whole Roman aspect of it. I enjoy the costume design. I enjoyed.
Have you seen Kingdom of Heaven?
Does that have Orlando Bloom in it?
Yeah.
I don't think he would like Kingdom of Heaven if he.
It's more detailed than that.
But I enjoyed Game of Thrones.
But Kingdom of Heaven is more slow paced.
It's the Crusades, yeah.
It's more slow paced than this.
I don't think it's the pacing, or I enjoy storytelling thing. I enjoy Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So it's not
true.
like
kind of.
It's just
same concept.
It's not just
maybe he's just not your type of director. Maybe you don't like the way he tells stories, which is very true.
Maybe.
Huh?
So.
And I'm glad, honestly. I really am glad that you did not like Gladiator as much as you thought you probably would have. And
Yeah,
I'm glad you have it on the same level as The Last Duel.
I just don't think it's. I see why people enjoy it, but to me, I don't think it should be held up to the standard that some of the other that some people hold it up to. I mean, it has very good parts, like the "Are You Not Entertained" and all of the "Smile for Me, Brother." Like, those scenes are great in and of itself, but as a whole, I'm gonna give the movie a 6.
A 6.
A 6.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
Yeah, we need to open the door in here.
Zach, let me hear your star rating, man.
It's not a film that I want to go back to frequently, but it's been.
I like that rating too, by the way. It's real.
It's probably been, honestly, 12, maybe 15 years since I've seen this, to be honest, in its entirety. But when I enjoyed the rewatch, I agree there's some pacing issues, but the performances, the visual effects, the action, the story really helps amend that for me. So, I mean, I'll give it a 9. It's not one that, like I said, I want to go back to frequently, but it's a good rewatch after some time has passed.
That's true.
I could probably watch it in 10 years and be okay with. I'm not going to sit here and think about it in a week, saying like, man, that one scene really makes me want to go back and watch it. It just.
Now that I would want some scenes, I could go back and watch certain scenes. Maybe not the whole movie, but I can probably name off 5 or 6 scenes that I would like to go and revisit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, There's not a scene that makes me think like, man, that scene was so good, I want to go back and rewatch the movie.
Yeah, for sure. Solely based on the second half of the movie, the storytelling, like Zach said, Joaquin Phoenix and Russell Crowe. I'm giving this movie a 9. I don't put. Maybe a 9 is too high for me, but if I had to put rewatchability and bring rewatchability into the movie, I would give it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
But just off of this one watch and not watching it again maybe for the rest of the year, I'm going to give it a 9 as it stands. This movie is not for everybody, and it is girthy. 2.5 hours, 2:40 for theatrical, and then 3 hours for the extended. So
the Oscars are on Sunday. It's been 22 years since it'll be 22 years this year that the movie came out. Let's rewind and look at the Best Picture winners of that year and to see if they got it right or if they should.
You mean the other
it.
nominations?
Yeah. So obviously Gladiator won Best Picture. The other nominees were Chocolat. Did you ever see that with Johnny Depp?
Good movie, but Gladiator's better.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Good movie, but Gladiator's better.
Aaron Brockovich.
Good movie, but Gladiator's better.
And finally, Traffic.
Good movie, Gladiator's better.
So Gladiator was
I agree with that.
Yeah. Those are all good movies. Aaron Brockovich, to me, would be the next closest. I haven't seen Traffic in a long time.
Crouching Tiger was very niche.
Yeah. I feel like Crouching Tiger is 300. It was very...
Yeah.
It kept getting made fun of.
Yeah.
So to me, I think they got it right. And 2001, I'm kind of disappointed those were the movies that were nominated.
Yeah. Because Training Day was that same year.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
Yep. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the next year.
Okay.
I was about to say something very regretful on air.
I almost came out of my seat. I almost had to...
He was about to have you playing basketball in Pelican Bay.
I was going to look like Don Vito. Bam, bam. The Don Vito from Bam Margera, of course, not from The Godfather.
Speaking of The Godfather.
Speaking of,
That's
you guys,
great transition.
send us in your star ratings for Gladiator. By all means, I want to hear them. You guys have already sent some in, so send in those emails. Also, send in your emails for your top 5 Russell Crowe movies at cinemen921@gmail.com, and we will read them over the email bag.
Mail time. Ooh, the mail's here. That means we get to see our old friend, Mailbox.
So again, send us in your emails at cinemen921@gmail.com. Before we get started, I am going to read off some Instagram posts of people's top 5 Russell Crowe movies. So this is from the Real for Real podcast. He was on a few weeks ago, so go check them out as well.
Real for Real.
Number 5, Cinderella Man. Number 4, 3:10 to Yuma. Number 3, American Gangster. Number 2, A Beautiful Mind. And number 1, Gladiator. So Lola's Basement. His top 5 is number 5, Boy Erased. Number 4, American Gangster. Number 3, The Nice Guys. Number 2, Unhinged. And number 1, A Beautiful Mind. So that's fun. Go over and check out some more on the Facebook page. You guys can leave your top 5 also anywhere throughout any of the social medias, and we will find them, we will hunt them, and we will read them.
We have a particular set of skills.
Yeah. We have some of the fastest thumbs in the West. Not really, but still. So
Twitter fingers itching.
they're itching, brother. They're itching. Dusty says his number 5, Cinderella Man. Number 4, 3:10 to Yuma. Number 3, A Beautiful Mind. Number 2, L.A. Confidential. Number 1, Gladiator. His honorable mentions is Master and Commander, Man of Steel, and The Nice Guys.
Master and Commander was a pretty good one. Forgot about that.
I have it, but guess what? I've never seen it. That's like 3 hours too.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
3 hours.
It was very
girthy.
On the sea.
yeah.
Terrence says Rocky is an all-time great. Anytime I watch it, it always gets me, and that's what great films do. 10 stars. Sarah97 says just checked out Turning Red, and I feel like it's a big disappointment, but I'm not torn. A big disappointment too, but I'm torn in between both Juan and Zach. I'm giving it a 7.
Have you seen it, Craig?
You guys talked about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned it off. I thought it was a Netflix film. I'm not disappointed in the drawing. It's very different than what I'm used to with
And
Pixar.
I'm really, yeah, it's a Pixar film, so I'm really disappointed in that. If it was just Disney, I'd be like, it's fine. But man, for it being a Pixar movie,
Pixar reach the drawing kind of felt like Luca.
does
but-
anybody understand why this movie did not make it to theaters? What's the reason behind it?
They just pulled it. They just think it. I don't know if they didn't think it would make money or what, but
I'll
it
tell you
just.
why.
But it's a Pixar movie and it was spring break. It would have made money.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
think-
not saying it was good.
I think it's because
I think
Pixar
it's
has
very
two teams.
I think it's very directed.
Yeah, it's very. Pixar has two teams when they're working on films. This is their B. Lightyear is going to be their A, like in the summertime. So
Makes sense.
But I mean, not only that, like most films have like
That's what I'm talking about,
an
Zach.
umbrella of like it's like we can tell the story, and if you get what we're trying to say,
yeah,
that's fine. But it's still a kids movie at heart. This movie felt very directed at what they were trying to come across it with.
13-year-olds go into puberty. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I don't think as adults seeing 13-year-olds kind of ooh and ah over
Especially if you have a
quote
little
unquote
girl.
Justin Bieber or the NSYNCs of like back in the day. That's not a movie that I really care about watching and seeing. Like, there's no real. I understand the concept behind it, but the substance of the film just
Doesn't do
kinda,
it for me.
it lost me.
Yeah.
So
Henry says Gladiator is a fun rewatch. Thank you for finally reviewing it. Can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts. 10 stars. Keegan says, anyone else feel that this movie is overrated at all? I think it is, but it's okay at the end of the day, but not amazing like I hear everybody else talk about. Gladiator, me, 6 stars.
did I send that in? I don't think I sent that in.
Unless you're Keegan from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Gabriel says Gladiator was hard to find, but found it on Pluto, but it was not a terrible movie, but just in between 7 stars. I'm surprised a movie like Gladiator is not picked up. It's a Paramount movie.
Yeah.
So why is it not on Paramount Plus?
Who knows? Why is Yellowstone not on Paramount Plus?
Why is
It is.
Spider-Man not on Marvel?
Not the
on
new
Disney
episodes,
Plus?
but seasons 1 through 4 I heard is now on Paramount Plus.
Why is Spider-Man not on Disney?
It was on Netflix for a long time, and then we did the episode and they took it off. So
You just got that thing where it's like one portion of the company has its hand in it, and they don't want to put it on.
Terrible. Barry says Gladiator is a great film and all, but I just didn't feel it this time around. 7 stars. I feel like Russell Crowe is underrated though. Anyone else agree? Hope this gets read. Thank you for taking the time. I feel like Russell Crowe is very underrated.
yeah,
Man,
I feel like we need to do a Russell Crowe episode.
why is it that I come in here and I spit out the truth about this film, and there's nothing but comments in here saying like, "Great film."
You probably paid $20 to get on there and send us emails.
We got some 10s too though, so
Yeah, I agree, but like exactly like kind of how I described them, what my issues were with it. Seems like other people have those issues as well. So
it is a movie that just maybe it doesn't age well either. Girthiness doesn't always feel good. Sam G69 says Gladiator is very entertaining. Haha, I get that. But I love it from start to finish. 10 stars. I see what you did there. See what you did.
I see what you did too.
Oh yeah, you saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Jessica, I don't know. I'll save that one for the end. Jeffrey says Gladiator is an all-time great. I need to get it on Blu-ray. My DVD copy doesn't look so good, but it's always a pleasure. 10 stars. Why not get the 4K, Jeffrey?
The 4K Steelbook.
I'm gonna end this one with Jessica because she's asking us a question. It might take us a little bit. I absolutely want to hear you guys talk about a fun chick flick. If you could choose any chick flick, which one would you pick? I really, really love Pretty Women with Julia Roberts.
With Jessa.
Julia Roberts. Chick flick, guys.
When we talk chick flick,
we
like,
did talk
what are
Twilight.
What are we talking like officially like chick flick though? Like, are we talking like
maybe Clueless? What's the one? Mean Girls?
Yeah, Mean Girls is.
Easy A?
Easy A would be
Easy A is a
good.
really good movie.
But are we talking like the Notebook type chick flick or like rom com? Like, how are we classifying this?
Would any rom com be a chick flick? I feel like
they could fall in that category. Yeah.
13 going on 30. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
I think 13 would be a good one. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past would be a good one.
The Notebook would be good because that movie's
was it A Day to Remember?
A Walk to Remember.
A Walk to Remember.
That's a band, Craig.
Yeah, A Day to Remember is good, but A Walk to Remember, Mandy Moore, I love it. I love it.
There's so many to choose from.
Walk to Remember always gets me. Always.
I couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
Then you need to watch it because you're gonna cry like a little.
My Sister's Keeper. Is that a chick
Oh
flick?
yeah, that
one's.
I wouldn't say that's a chick flick.
That's more of a family drama.
No. Holes.
Holes. that is a top tier comedy, sir.
I don't know. There's a lot to choose from. Maybe one day we'll just have
just throw up a poll or like
a chick flick month.
Chick flick month.
Yeah.
Should have did that in February.
And we can invite Spooky Tuesday guys to come in and talk to us. Or
why would they do a chick flick when they do horror?
Because
they're chicks.
No, because there's spooky chick flicks.
10 Things I Hate About You.
I said that. Yeah.
13 Ghosts.
The Proposal.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yep. Pitch Perfect.
Wait a minute. La La Land. Is that considered?
I've never seen La La Land.
Oof.
Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
I could do some Ryan Gosling.
I'm sure you could.
I mean, I could talk about some Ryan Gosling.
Crazy Stupid Love.
We
That's
are
pretty
doing
good
Ryan
movie.
Gosling though with you. Or the Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys.
I think that would be a good, probably change the pace. Good different category. To
You're right. You're right, Johnny. Twilight is considered a chick flick.
But it had Robert Pattinson, so
16 Candles.
Is there an A24 chick flick?
Yeah, it's called
The Bling Ring.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
No, it's called
The Lighthouse.
Midsummer.
Midsummer.
The Witch. You know what? And I didn't get into some of the A24 emails, but there's talk about people want some more A24 month. So
what else could we do besides X?
There's like 50 other movies up there that we can.
He's got the whole catalog.
Show me which ones are A24.
Show me at the very, very top.
Amy.
Me, Amy. All right, guys, send us in some more emails. cinemen921@gmail.com. And guys, next week.
You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Zach, final nail in the coffin before we get to The Godfather next week.
Yeah, I would say Gladiators. I think it's one that
it's important to cinema history.
Yeah, I think it's at least it's required viewing, just like Rocky, just one time, and then you never want to see it again. That's fine.
Like next week.
But next week, that requires multiple viewings. With the
You think so?
I think so.
You don't think it's one of those like, okay, it is considered one of the GOATs. Just watch it. If you're not into it, let's talk about it.
I guess we'll find out.
Craig, final nail in the coffin with Gladiator. Are you excited for next week? First time watch for you, Godfather.
I don't know if it's the first time watch. I just haven't seen it start to finish. Probably.
You've seen
in a long
clips.
time. I've seen, for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen clips.
Are you excited?
No,
You're not.
It's
not.
3 hours.
Like,
But it's a good 3 hours.
Yeah.
probably when I watch it, I'll probably be like, man, that was a good movie. But leading up to it, I really don't want to watch.
Marlon Brando, Al Pacino,
James Caan.
a star of cast. Tila Shear from Rocky's in it. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Al Pacino?
Yeah.
Al Pacino's in it, yeah.
Hoo-ah!
Diane Lane.
Not that Al Pacino.
Honestly, this is considered one of my favorite films of all time.
And you waited a long time to talk about this.
I've waited since 2018, but guess what? What better way to do it than on the 50th anniversary?
Exactly.
The 4K copies are coming out this week on the 22nd. Unfortunately, my copy is on back
Postponed.
order. It's on back order.
Are you okay?
I'm pissed. I'm super pissed. You know why I'm pissed? Hold on a second.
You have rant
do
of
we
the
have
day.
to do it now? Then do we want to postpone until we get that?
No. I'm pissed because on Amazon, when you pre-order something like this,
This is my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
they don't take it out of your account until the week of release. So they took the money out of the release, which is fine. No big deal. but now they don't ship it until Tuesday.
God damn it.
Why pre-order something if you don't get it in your hands the day of?
You'll probably get it early.
I'm not getting it early. It says that it hasn't even shipped yet.
Just Amazon's fast, boy.
The last time this happened with my Friday the 13th box set, it took 10 days. 10 days
Call Jeff Bezos.
until
Bezos.
So I'm pissed. I'm really, really pissed.
That's why you don't order. Why are you ordering anything online and expecting it to be here by release? They can't ship it until it's.
because Best Buy is all sold out.
Whose fault is that?
I've pre-ordered stuff before from Amazon, and I guess I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. But I'm pissed. Anyway,
You have it.
Anyway,
you
he's
have-
gonna be
3
bitchy.
copies.
He's not gonna get it day one.
true. But you know what? This movie still looks amazing on Blu-ray. I've had it on VHS. I've had it on DVD. I've got it on Blu-ray. I've got 3 copies on Blu-ray, and I'm going to have the copy on 4K. So, Craig, I think, hopefully you enjoy at least somewhat of this first watch for you.
Is it like The Irishman?
No.
That's,
It's 3 hours, but to me, The Godfather is just different, man. It's different from the start of the music to the family wedding all the way to the very end. There's story and there's dialogue and there's important story from start to finish.
Is it like Scarface?
No.
There's not as much action in it, but
No, action.
there's action in it, but
You're
it's not
the Godfather, and you're telling people he's sleeping with the fishes.
wrong line, but
They're not. He
It's-
doesn't say you sleep with the fishes,
it's an acquired taste.
like caviar.
There you go.
Fine wine dining.
Yeah, red wine.
Okay, I'll break out the salted popcorn.
Honestly, I would choose a day that you're not going to be bothered, and you
Yeah.
can just sit down and enjoy it.
Like that's gonna happen.
March Madness is going on, bro.
Come
It'll
over.
have to be today or tomorrow.
Come over. Just come over. Tell the family that you got to work a double and come over here and just watch it. You do what I tell you to do.
No.
So I'm excited, guys. Next week, 50th anniversary of The Godfather. It's finally happening. Episode 186. Marlon Brando. I guess that's it, man. We'll talk to you guys next week right here as we talk the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. Is it a goat? Listen to us next week and find out right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding and you ask me for a favor.